Penn State tape as a defense, what were the main takeaways?
Communication was big. I feel like we played a very sound game overall. Obviously, not as complete as we wanted it to be in order to get the job done, but I feel like we did do a good job playing our game plan and what we thought was effective. We can always be better with communication, and obviously, you can always tackle better and things like that.
Can you run us through that busted coverage touchdown and what happened and what was supposed to happen?
Yeah, I mean they caught us. They caught us in tempo. They caught us in a situation where we weren't able to get our check out in time, and it resulted in a touchdown. One of the things we got to keep getting better at each and every week is just being able to communicate more effectively and quicker.
Ethan, I saw that you had quite a bit of family there. What was it like to kind of have that in return for a 2-point conversion in front of all your family like that?
Yeah, I mean it was senior day, so it was big. Just having a lot of my family there. I had my niece and my nephew up from Texas. My nephew plays football down there in Texas. He's a younger kid, getting ready to hit high school soon. So just having him being able to – he was also here for the USC game. So having them here for these two big games and get to see that type of atmosphere as he gets ready to enter high school, that was probably a bigger moment for me, more so than seeing my cousins or my aunts or my mom and dad. My mom and dad come to every game, so it's kind of normal for them at this point. But definitely just letting him get exposed to seeing that type of atmosphere and that type of play was definitely amazing.
Who's taught you most about the Wisconsin rivalry, and is there a situation where you've developed a disdain for Wisconsin because of that?
I mean, same thing every week. Want to know championship mindset. Obviously, they talk about what's going on there, and just informing me that it's another game. Obviously, it's going to hold some importance, and you just got to go out there and be ready to play.
Did it all feel like getting that the 2-point on that long return was maybe some sort of like ball don't lie situation after the PI call?
I'm not really going to speak on that. I just felt like it was a great return, great block by Jack, way to get through the gap, which is what we saw in film. He executed the block to pretty much perfection, and I just did my part and just was ready for the scoop and score and made sure I didn't get caught.
You've played a lot of college football over the last 4 years. Do you feel like you know what constitutes a flag and what doesn't in terms of contact down the field at this stage of your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I feel like any DB is aware of. You never want to get those calls drawn on you because they can swing the way things are going or just take away from your technique, and you never want to compromise your technique for anything. So you definitely you think you have an understanding of it. You kind of want to have an understanding of it. But at the end of the day, what's called is called, and if it's called, that's what it was.
What have you seen in Zaquan Bryan, his development this year?
Yeah, he's going to be a great player here for his remainder of his eligibility, however many he needs to use or however many he chooses until he graduates. He's a dog. He's tough. I feel like he embodies what me and Wally tried to pass down, the confidence, the toughness, the smarts, the physicality. He has it all. He'll be great.
Earlier in the season, after the Michigan loss, PJ raved about how the locker room came together after that. Do you see traits of that this weekend after the Penn State game?
Yeah, I just feel like it just carried over from the Michigan loss. Ever since the Michigan loss, everybody's been a lot more close-knit, even more close-knit than we already were. And we've just built on that games going past, and I feel like this one just kind of close but no cigar kind of deal, and you could definitely feel that in the locker room. But we're on to the next one.
Anything else for Ethan?
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
See you participate in senior day. Does that mean you're coming back next year?
Yeah, I'll be back next year.
What went into the decision to do so?
Well, of course, me being a fifth-year senior, I mean, that option for me to go to the next level was there. Of course, for anybody, I mean, you still got to see how the season plays out. So just I'm at that point in the season where it's like, okay, where am I at? Do have to evaluate where it is, because at the end of the day, this is a game, and partial of it is a little bit of business in there, and you do have to take care of it. So got to the point where we were in the season, and I was like, all right, cool. Where am I at? Had to go ask people for some advice. Of course, asked Coach Fleck and Coach Debo for advice, and see what they thought. Got their opinions on it. Was thinking back throughout the season, and seeing how it was playing out for me, what the signs were, and what I thought the best was going to be for me. And, coming back next year is definitely going to be the best for me, being able to maximize all my opportunities and exhaust eligibility. So, yeah.
How much have you talked with Devin Eastern? He's another guy that has the opportunity to come back about potentially teaming up in 25.
I mean, we talked a lot about it. Not crazy amount, but I mean, it's. We're excited for it, honestly. Not only continuing to build the D line, but just continue to build upon the experience that we already have. Because I mean, we've seen the amount of destruction that we can create when we're focused. So. Me, Dev, and then of course 0 too. I mean, he'd be pissed if I didn't shout him out. So, him too. Just continuing to think about the amazing amount of things that we could do as a D line and the amount of impact that we could have on us as a team as we continue to move forward. So, I mean, I'm super excited.
You mentioned Anthony. He's played a couple of his better games of his career against Rutgers and against Penn State. What do you think is starting to click for him here in November?
It's just he's trusting the process. I feel like anybody who's come through this program knows that it's not an easy process, and especially for him, it hasn't been an easy process either. So for him, he's figuring out the game. The game's starting to come to him a lot faster. I mean, of course, anybody that's played football understands like the time that it takes to truly understand the game of football, especially when you get to the next level. And this level especially. So he's figuring out things that he may not have gotten like a year ago. And now he's putting it into perspectives to where he can go play faster.
We've seen Martin Owusu and Theo Randall travel with you guys on the defensive tackles every game this year. What have you seen from them here as they wait for their shot?
Yeah, of course, young guys, but at the same time, they're not young guys. I mean, they've had experience in practice. They played a couple games here and there because we need them to. But at the same time, it's just them being patient. I mean, whenever their number is called, they're going to be ready. So I'm truly confident in those two guys, especially 99 and 87, of course. But, I mean, when they step onto the field, they're going to make their presence known.
The Wisconsin-Minnesota games, historically, one of the trenches. You've been on both sides of that. So what's the key going into the game on Friday?
I mean, we all know that this is about to be a physical game. We've seen it in years past. That is, mean, a lot of running the ball, physicality when it comes to defense on both sides. So the key of it is not only who's going to want it more, but at the same time, it's going to be who's going to be paying attention to the execution and the details. So. At the same time, of course, Coach Fleck continues to talk about 78% for us. So being able to focus on the intricate details in those things with 78%, the ball, tackling, explosive plays, and then, of course, narrow situations, middle eight, as Coach Heatherman keeps on talking about. So just being able to dial down the situations. And, yeah, I mean, that's really what's going to come down for the game.
If you win there, you can end their season. Is that a motivating factor at all?
No. At the end of the day, we got to just go 1-0. Worried about the next opponent. I mean, of course, yes, it is Wisconsin, and of course, this game does mean a lot to us as players, and of course, the state of Minnesota. So, yeah, we're playing for that, but at the same time, it's another game. Nameless, faceless opponent.
Anything else for Jalen? Awesome. Thanks, Jalen.
Thanks,
Cool.
Jalen.
Thank you.
You guys watch back the tape from Penn State. What made them, at least their defensive line, have the ability to get so much penetration?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times it was just some of their movements. You know, it's hard to pick up at times. And, you know, our job is to be 5-1. So if one person's off, then, you know, there's that gap open. So definitely more penetration than we had hoped for on Saturday, but at times we definitely ran the ball effectively. But the self-inflicted wounds are what killed us eventually.
We saw you come out in the 83 jersey out of the tunnel. Did your family know that was coming, or was that a little bit of a surprise?
That was a surprise, and I'm glad that it worked out smoothly, other than having to take the jersey off afterwards. But no, it was a very heartfelt moment for me and my family, and that was a lot of fun. There'll be memories of that forever, and they get to keep the jersey, so that was very cool.
When did you come up with the idea of that, or was it you?
Yeah, I came up with the idea. Just wanted to give a little nod to my dad there with 83.
When you look at this Wisconsin defense, what stands out to you?
They're big. They've got a big interior, and then their ends are very athletic as well, and they're deep at end too. So, obviously Wisconsin is going to have a great front seven. They always do. So, it's going to come down to who's going to win the line of scrimmage. Whoever wins the game or whoever wins the line of scrimmage is whoever's going to win the game, in my personal opinion. And that's kind of how this game is always rolled. So I'm excited for the challenge. Last regular season game as a Gopher, and I think we all have that mindset. Obviously coming off a loss that was close and, gives us confidence into the next week, but there's a lot to learn from if we want to beat a team like Wisconsin on the road. So we're excited for the challenge.
How was the O-line and quarterbacks bonded over the free house dinners?
Oh, we bonded a lot. We've some deep conversations at those dinners, and just, stuff that, we're not allowed to talk about football. If we're out there and somebody starts talking about football, we nudge them or whatever. We're not allowing that. So that's our little hour and a half of the week where we can just relax and enjoy a nice meal and have some fun conversations together. But a lot of bonding.
What are the other topics?
Oh, just guy stuff. I don't know. All the above. It comes down to, we're talking about last week we were ranking movies or TV shows or the menu at Free House. So all the above.
Is there somebody that puts down more food than anybody else?
No, they portion us. No, I'm kidding. They got, we all get the same amount of food, basically. They've got a little menu for us of like burgers or pasta or whatever, and last week we all got the same thing. We didn't coordinate it. We were just all craving the same like mac and cheese dish. It was great.
Was last week the last one, given the timing of the game this week and travel on Thanksgiving?
I'll have to talk to Max, but we might have to schedule it for Wednesday this week as opposed to Thursday, but I hope it wasn't the last one.
What's the rivalry with Wisconsin mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot to me. Growing up, this was like the game, and obviously followed the Gophers my whole childhood, but when Wisconsin was in town or the Gophers were going to Wisconsin, it was obviously the biggest game of the year. No matter the record of either team, it was always a tight game and always like I said, the one up front. And so seeing those guys that I emulated growing up playing for the Gophers, some of those O-linemen dominating in this sort of game is really special to watch as a kid, and then to grow up learning from, and then now to play in it means even more.
Quinn, have you decided if you're going to play in the bowl game or not?
I'm playing, 100%.
Why so much conviction of something like that?
I think it's something, a bit of a standard. In my opinion, I want to set a standard, right? And that's kind of been my goal ever since I came here, was to be the leader, to be the standard all the time. And I don't want it to become a standard that we don't play in a bowl game if we have NFL aspirations. Obviously, it's different for guys who are, maybe touted a little bit higher, or think, it'll be better off for them to start working on the next step, whether that's combine training or what have you. But that's one opportunity that I'm blessed with to play with the guys, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
Anything else for Quinn? All right.
Thanks, Quinn.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We asked Quinn if he was going to play in the bowl game. I know you've accepted a postseason invite to a different All-Star game. Have you made a decision if you're going to play in whatever the bowl game is?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely playing. I think it's a really cool experience, especially for someone coming from the FCS or a smaller division.
having the ability to play in a bowl game. And it's another opportunity for us to play as a team. And, one more game with your team. And, it's a compilation of what you worked on all season to play one more game together.
Did you kind of know that when you came here in January, that no matter what happens, you wanted the opportunity to
Yeah,
do something like
for
that?
sure. I got to visit, obviously, during last year's bowl game and got to experience a little bit of what it's like. And I'm excited that, we get to be able to do that. But, we're focused on, winning this week and putting our best foot forward. And we'll focus on the rest of the season after.
Harbaugh mentioned that in that Penn State game plan, you had 63, in his estimation, different checks, kills, whatever that may be. Normally it's around 20, 25. How much extra time did you have to go in to make sure that even the chess player that you are, you were ready?
Yeah, a ton. I thought Coach Harbaugh, first of all, did an amazing job teaching it because it's not easy to teach that. And it's, as much time as we had throughout the bye week and throughout game week, actually prepping the game plan takes a while, so you don't really get those kills and alerts until towards the end of the bye week and into the game week. And Coach Harbaugh did an amazing job of laying it all out, piece by piece and making it simple for as complicated as it was. And that's a credit to him and his staff for teaching us that, because it's not just me that has to know the kills and alerts, it's everybody else too, the O-line, the tight ends, the running backs, the receivers. So I thought they did a really good job of learning all that. And I'm proud of the game plan they put together in that game.
What were your takeaways after watching the tape back from
Yeah.
that Penn State one?
It's a tough loss for sure. You go back to the statement that it's a football game and things are going to go, one way or another, and you have to live with the result. And go back to the tape and correct what you can correct and build upon the positives. And you watch the film and you wish you could have those plays back, but that's how every football game is. And ultimately, you have to live within yourself and trust what you did throughout the bye week and throughout the game week of the preparation that you put in, and know that you did everything you could. And whether the ball bounces your way or not, that's what you have to live with and continue to build and put your best foot forward for the next week game.
Max, how did the free house dinner start? How did that come together?
Yeah, so I did that, something similar at New Hampshire. We had like a little on-campus restaurant at New Hampshire. I did that with my own line there, and we loved it. And so I came here and had some help find a restaurant that would help sponsor us and support us throughout the season. And NIL is pretty cool. They get to Free House has been amazing for us, and they support us every single week where we can actually go in and benefit from who we are as people. And they've been very gracious, housing us for every Thursday night in there, and it's been fun. The guys have had a lot of fun doing that this year.
And Quinn just said that there's a rule of no football talk.
No football talk. No, and I think it's something that we live by. We're talking football all day long, every single day, and for those 2 hours or an hour and a half that we're there, football is completely off the table. And I think that's a good thing where you can kind of get away from football and talk to each other as human beings and not football players, and look at each other the same way and not just as in a football helmet.
Quinn said that maybe debates on TV shows or movies with kind of sort of comments or conversations.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about?
Yeah, Coop always has a movie suggestion for the guys that night. He always has something in his back pocket for the guys to watch. It's more of just a social conversation. I think after how the week went, how our families, how's everybody's families doing, what their plans are, in life in general. It's a fun way to, again, continue to build relationships with people, but also just to get away from football for a couple hours.
Is that going to be the last week, given the schedule?
No, Free House is supporting us through December, so we'll be able to have one this week, and then throughout bowl prep when we're here. So we're excited to continue that through the rest of the season.
What have you learned about this rivalry between Minnesota and Wisconsin?
Yeah, so the first thing is, I believe it's the longest standing FBS college football rivalry, most played in the country, and that's one of the really cool things about playing college football, especially at the University of Minnesota, where you get to play in that game and you get to live that experience, especially in a really cool environment in Madison. And we're really excited to play this week, and especially playing on Friday, where you're probably the only game on, right? And I think for us, it's another chance for us to get better, and also compile all the wins and losses we've had this year, and really learn the lessons from the events we played this year, and continue to build and continue to get better. And Friday's just the next opportunity for us.
Played in a lot of cold football games, playing out at New Hampshire, but this weekend will be the coldest of the season, probably in the teens somewhere.
Yeah.
What are the difficulties of trying to play quarterback in such cold temperatures?
I think you have to get used to it. I think if someone's not used to it, it's difficult. But I think it depends on, sometimes people talk about the footballs, how they can change in the cold weather. And shout out to my EQ squad, the Brady Bunch, I like to call them. And, they keep the footballs ready and they keep them, they got to kind of be heated throughout the game, right? Because if they get too cold, then the footballs can, kind of get slick. And they do a great job of that. For quarterbacks specifically, it's, keeping your hands warm when you can. Depending on if you're a long sleeve guy or a short sleeve guy, there's a lot of things that go into it. But at the end of the day, if you focus too much on being cold, you're going to be cold. If you just focus on playing football, you're not going to really notice it. And that's what you ask for when you play Big Ten football. Is when you get to November, you're playing cold weather football. And if you're still playing in November and continue to play after, then you're probably doing the right thing. And for us, it's the next one. And I think these guys, most of these guys in this team have played in cold games, so I think we're going to be in good shape.
You could end Wisconsin seasons if you beat it. Is that a bit of a motivating factor at all?
I don't think we're focusing on that. I think for us it's about us, and we focus on us for the whole season, right? Where we want to build upon what we have as our team and what we can get better at each and every single week. And regardless of if it's our last regular season or not, our last regular season game or not, it's the next one for us. And for us, it's another chance to get better as a team and as individual players. And we're focused on being the best team we can be on Friday.
Participate and jump around, or does it sort of depend on how the game's going?
I don't know. I've seen videos. You try to put yourself in that environment, that atmosphere of. That's part of preparation. Is looking at where you're playing at, what the environment's like, and watching videos of what it's like. And most of the teams that I've seen play there, the opposing teams are jumping around as well. So I'll just follow suit with my team, and I'll continue to keep an even keel mindset, but understand that it's one of the coolest environments, college football. And so we get to experience that and play in an amazing rivalry game. So,
Anything else for Max?
Thank you.
Thanks, Max.